Right, hello lads and lasses, and welcome back to Boys Down Under, where today, that's right, we're back and we are talking about the scintillating Josip Juranovic's performance that has sent Croatia into a World Cup semi-final. But we're also looking at how Celtic squad could drastically change in the January transfer window. Before we go any further, if you guys are enjoying the content and you want to help support the channel, the very best way to do so is to click that like button and click that subscribe button. But without further ado, let's get into it. So, first off, I'd like to start the video by saying a major thank you to Aileen and her husband Danny for sending over this amazing Celtic scarf. It's very old, but it still is in tip-top condition. It's also got some Manchester United badges on it as well. So thank you guys very much for that. They live in Donegal, for anyone wondering, and they're my grandma's. Aileen is my grandma's cousin, so thank you guys very much. I'll leave this on during the video. You can see the Manchester United badges, but we all know it's green and white, so that's the main thing. Anyways, Josip Juranovic'S Croatia have knocked out Brazil to make it to the World Cup semi-final for a second World Cup in a row. Now, apart from Modric and maybe Livakovic, who is the goalkeeper, Juranovic, without a doubt, was one of the best performers. He was 100% in the top 3 performers for that match. The only reason I'm putting Livakovic in there is because of the penalty shootout heroics. Regardless, he was incredible, putting Vinicius Jr. in his pocket, and I use the term immense very loosely, but Juranovic was immense. And everyone was raving about him, from former World Cup winner Jurgen Klinsmann, and all the way to KFC. Yes, you heard that right. KFC, in fact, tweeted about Josip Juranovic, and it was a bit tongue-in-cheek talking about the asking fee for Juranovic. But it does lead us into the actual talking point of this segment, and that is, what is the asking fee for Josip Juranovic? Because the reports I've been reading, especially from teams that are interested, so fan websites of the teams that are interested in Juranovic, prior to the World Cup match, 10 million is the fee reported that will be enough to sign him from Celtic. Codswallop. And you know what? Even some Celtic pages are reporting that a £15 million will be the fee. It's a joke. It literally is a joke. For a World Cup semi-final right back, £15 million is a joke, not to mention £10 million being absolutely blasphemous. Regardless, even if we did pay £3 million for him and was turning over a major profit, that profit should very much be much higher. We must not let the club be lowballed for Juranovic in the prime of his career and putting on performances that demonstrate the sheer quality that he has and the ability he has at 27 years old. We cannot let him go for anything less than £100 million, because that performance sure as hell put a 0 on the end of £10 million for all I care. And prior to the World Cup, you know what? Prior to the World Cup, we knew if Juranovic had a strong showing, he'd be gone in January. I think we all accepted that. But his performances, while good, were not great. However, he really took it to the next level against Brazil. Now, after last night's performance, quite a few teams have also joined in on the race for Juranovic. West Ham, Atletico Madrid, Chelsea, Real Sociedad, and Manchester United are the 5 teams that are being reported. But for all we know, so many other top European teams could also be interested in JJ's services. You know what? And I might have said 100 mil earlier, but let's be a bit realistic. £25 million has to be the bare minimum. Has to be. £20 million, I'll be upset. But £25 million, I think, is a very, very fair fee. Because when you have a player like Nathan Patterson, who's played only 3 games of professional football and leaves for £14 million, and clubs are trying to sign a World Cup semi-final right back for £10 million, there is something bloody wrong. Bare minimum, £25 million. Because if Juranovic played in the Championship, if he played in the Premier League, the Bundesliga, Ligue 1, Serie A, La Liga, he would be going for anywhere upwards of £50 million. It is Scottish tax, and that is the only reason that figure is so much lower than it actually deserves to be. And you know what? It's going to be disappointing to see Josip Juranovic go, because it probably will be for a much lower fee than what we believe he deserves or constitutes. But when one door closes, another one is left ajar. So will Tony Ralston take it to the next level at Celtic, or will Alistair Johnston become an overnight, instantaneous success at Celtic? And speaking of success at Celtic and the Celtic squad, will we see a major makeover of this team in January? Now, let me explain. Firstly, incomings and returns. Callum McGregor returns to the team. It feels like it's been an eternity since we've seen him in a Hoops jersey. We already have two new lads in the door in Yuki Kobayashi and Alistair Johnston. Now, not to mention, there are also two very strong rumours in Cho Gu-song and Aissa Ladouni as well. So we have the potential to sign 4 players before the window even begins. That is ridiculous. And another face, and someone who has gone under the radar, is the returning Adam Monty Montgomery. He's actually on loan at St Johnstone, as we all know, but in fact, his loan deal ends on the 31st of December, so he'll be back with Celtic at the beginning of January. However, the sensible option there does seem to be to extend that loan deal to the end of the season, because Bernabei and Greg Taylor are doing phenomenally. But I mentioned departures, and Josip Juranovic, as we all know, is the most likely to leave Celtic in January. We all think, I think heading into this World Cup, we all knew his head was probably out of the door, but not his body. And that body constitutes like an extra £25 million. So unless we get that, I don't think he should be going anywhere. Although, at the same time, if he does want to leave, we all know Ange will not stand in his way at all. Now, who else could be going in January? Stephen Welsh. I think Stephen Welsh has to go in January, not permanently, but on loan. Especially when we have Yuki Kobayashi arriving at the club, not to mention Marit Jens, Carl Starfelt, and Cameron Carter-Vickers in the squad. There is no place for Stephen Welsh right now. He has to go on loan and has to get regular minutes playing for some other team in Europe. Thirdly, though, Yusuke Itaguchi. The reports overnight confirmed pretty much that Yusuke Itaguchi will be leaving Celtic, whether that be in January or at the end of the season. I think we all knew his time at Celtic was as good as done. Really never got off a mark at Celtic. You can say it was down to injury woes, but at the same time, you just can't break into this Celtic midfield. If you're not the best of the best, it's so incredibly hard to break into it. And also, I don't think Ange trusts him, so that is another reason there. Now, fourthly, there has been some light rumours here and there about Georgios Giacomakis and him leaving Celtic. However, I see that as being completely irrelevant and completely unrealistic. I have no doubt in my mind he will stay with Celtic throughout January until the end of the season. What happens after that? I couldn't tell you. I am not a prophet. I am not a finger reader, a sightseer. No, that's not the right term. Anyways, I don't believe Giacomakis is going to go anywhere. I think January is such a hard time to get deals done that I don't see any player who isn't already rumoured to go going, if that makes sense. But do expect arrivals if there are no departures. 2 signings prior to January already. We have the possibility to sign 2 more before January. And of course, the whole month of January to sign anyone we want. We need to bring in a striker, whether that be Cho Gu-song or someone else. We'll have to wait and see. But if there are rumours of Giacomakis leaving, I think we need a bigger striker. I think we need a poacher, someone who provides a different element to Kyogo. Because if Giacomakis goes and we have 2 movement-based speedy strikers, when it comes to hold-up play and we need someone big up top, we're going to be in a bit of a pickle. But that is all from me. So if you guys did enjoy the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, leave in the comments below your thoughts on the Juranovic situation. And until next time, hail, hail.